What's up, Lake Point? Pastor Michael here to fill you in on week number 3 of our series, Airplane Mode. This is a series all about taking a time out from all the noise and distractions of our world and focusing on Jesus and the practices that guided his life. And this week, Pastor Ethan guided us through the discipline of the Sabbath. Because, let's face it, most of us could use a break. As Ethan shared, stress is a factor in 5 out of the 6 leading causes of death. Heart disease, cancer, stroke, respiratory disease, and accidents. In fact, an estimated 75 to 90% of all doctor's visits are for stress-related issues. Perhaps God told us to take a day off for a reason. The word Sabbath, it comes from us from the Hebrew word Shabbat. The word literally means to stop. Essentially, the Sabbath is a day to stop working, stop wanting, and to stop worrying. From the very first book of the Bible, we see God modeling the importance of the Sabbath. In chapter 1 of Genesis, we see that for 6 days, God created the heavens and the earth and everything in them. He filled them. But then, when we turn the page to chapter 2, this is what we read in verses 1 to 3. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. By the 7th day, God had finished the work he had been doing, and so on the 7th day, he rested from all of his work. Then God blessed the 7th day and made it holy, because on it he had rested from all of the work of creating that he had done. So what do we see is that after working for 6 days, he rests for 1. And in doing so, God built into DNA of creation a tempo, a rhythm, a pattern. Work 6, rest 1. And in the book of Exodus, we see God once again establish the importance of the Sabbath, this time in the form of it being one of the 10 commandments. Check it out. Exodus 20 verses 8 to 11 says, "Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall do no work, neither you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male or female servants, nor your animals, nor your foreigner residing in your towns. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them. But he rested on the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy." So, how do we do this? How do we actually Sabbath? Well, the first step that Ethan provided is to actually quiet your mind. You've got to quiet your mind and shut out all the voices but God's. I mean, throughout the week, our minds tend to be kind of a whirlwind of competing thoughts and voices that are shouting for our attention. You know, the news or social media, your boss, whoever. Quieting your mind looks different for everyone, but for many, it probably means powering down your phone or turning off the TV, or as we talked about last week, kind of finding your eremos. The second step is to focus your mind. Have you ever tried to think about nothing? It's not really possible, is it? And so once you've quieted your mind, you have to kind of focus your mind, and you have to give your mind a direction to think on. And if our goal is to orient our heart towards God, a good place to focus on might be Him. Now, that's an incredibly broad statement, but it also gives you so much freedom in terms of what it actually looks like. And so maybe you need to go for a walk or listen to some worship music. It doesn't overly matter what it is. It just matters that you find something that helps you focus in on Him. The third step that Ethan provided was to pray your mind. Just talk to God like you talk to anyone else. He is a person. He has a personality. Prayer is just a spiritualized term for talking to God. What should you talk about? Well, whatever's on your mind, whatever concerns you, whatever's burdening you, whatever you're excited about. Talk to God about your job or your spouse or your kids or your business or your finances or your pets. It doesn't matter as long as it is authentically you. Finally, step number 4 is to renew your mind. Yes, it's vital to communicate to God what you want and need to say, but it's even more important to allow Him to communicate what He wants and needs to say to you. Renewing your mind is all about replacing falsehoods and deceptions with spiritual truth. And one of the big ways you do this is by allowing God to speak to you and actually believing what He tells you. So, to recap, how do we Sabbath? Well, we take time to quiet, focus, pray, and renew our minds by shutting out all the other voices by God's and turning and talking to God, and by allowing Him to talk to us. I mean, let's be honest, Jesus probably sums the Sabbath up best. I mean, this is what He said as recorded in the book of Matthew. Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 to 30 says, "Are you tired? Are you worn out? Are you burned out on religion? Come to me, get away with me, and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy on you or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. Well, folks, 2,000 years later, Jesus' invitation to Sabbath still stands. It's not just Old Testament law. It's something that God ingrained into the DNA of the universe long before he made any covenant with the Israelites. And it's something he's offering us today. He is the nourishing, empowering vine who says, abide in me and you'll bear much fruit. He's the great shepherd who leads us beside still waters and restores our souls. He's the great high priest who can sympathize with our weakness because he became one of us. He's the living water who invites us to come, drink, be refreshed, and never thirst again. This is the mighty yet gentle warrior who invites you to put your beeping, buzzing, chirping phone down once a week and walk with him in the cool of the day so that he can tell you great and mighty things. He is the one who stands at the door and knocks, and if we hear his voice and invite him in, then everything's open to us. Imagine what life would be like if you finally felt free from the need to be more, get more, do more, free from the spirit of restlessness that enslaves our society. The Sabbath principle of rest is life, not law. It's an invitation, not an obligation. It's a gift, not an assignment. And so Lake Point, take a Sabbath. Jesus highly recommends it. Have fun, jump into discussion questions. We'll see you next time.